Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back here once again with the future to another DVD collection update. And this time it is a Halloween horror special. This is going to be Halloween Horror Special 2.0. I did one last year, so I'm going to do a Halloween horror one this year as well and keep doing them every year because typically around this time of year I like to pick up a lot of horror movie films. It's Halloween time, and obviously horror and the macabre and monsters and all that go along with Halloween. I love watching horror movies around this time of year, so I figure every year that I always build up my horror movie collection because I'm so interested in watching a lot of horror movies around this time, and I need to start my Universal Classic Monsters marathon ASAP. I will be having those play for Halloween. I always watch the Universal Classic horror movies every year. Like to do that even since I was a kid. My dad was the one who got me started doing that, and I still do. But let's get on with all my horror movie collection updates. And happy Halloween to everybody out there. And yeah, let's get on to it. You can see in the background here I have these big box of horror cases because I just thought they looked cool for a background. But I did just pick these up. I just wanted to pick these up just to see what was on them. And it was a bunch of public domain movies and just random movies just thrown in together. And you can see on this one you get Wes Craven presents Don't Look Down. You get 19 Doors. You get Evidence of a Haunting, Empty Rooms, and Dark Spirits. That's the 5 movies that are on that one. And the 5 that are on this, and this was only $5, so I had to pick it up to see what was on it. Daughter of Darkness, Zombies vs. Strippers. Oh, yeah. The Last Man on Earth. I have like 3 copies of that now. But you know what? 3 copies is better than none. And just to talk about Last Man on Earth, since this is the Halloween horror update, I did get the single solo copy of Vincent Price, The Last Man on Earth. He is in like one of the first movies that have to do with zombies. This is a very, very good movie. One of my favorites to watch around Halloween time as well. It had some special features on here too. I have this also on my 50 Classics horror collection, but when I seen the solo Last Man on Earth DVD, I had to pick that up. So it is also on this one, but you also have I Eat Your Skin and Destined to Be Ingested, not incested. I've never actually watched some of these movies, so bear with me on that. I was a blind buy when I picked up there. This one I picked up a $2 one at Family Dollar. It has Cruel World, and the one Scarecrow Disturbed, and the one that I really wanted, the Gingerdead Man, just because it's Gary Busey as a killer gingerbread man, or gingerbread man, and I never had that in the collection, so I had to pick that up. I would have never bought that any other way. And this one I picked up just because it has the Tales from the Crypt presents Ritual, and I like all Tales from the Crypt related movies. It has Blindness, The Eye Inside, and Wes Craven's They, which I actually have They. So, this is just another like kind of blind buy because I like that Ritual on there as well. Here I picked up the Tom Savini version of Night of the Living Dead. It is George A. Romero's remake. This was remade in 1990, the original in 1968. One of my favorite all-time horror movies. Movies are just movies, period. A must for every horror fan to see, and that is true. I really enjoyed this movie watching this. I never had seen the 1990 version until I watched this, and he stayed true and put in his own little twist to it too, and the special effects, as always, are badass with Tom Savini, one of the masters. He worked on Friday the 13th. He also worked on Creepshow as well. And since I am talking about Creepshow, I actually picked up Creepshow as well. But I don't even see where I have it here. There it is. I picked up that recently as well, and since Tom Savini had to do some special effects in this is a George A. Romero and Stephen King horror anthology film, and one of my favorites of all time, and we're going to keep that one in the background and put Night of the Living Dead back there. And I'm not going to give too much away on these films, but this is a great horror anthology. There is also a Creepshow 2, which I'd like to get a hold of. And Stephen King actually plays a part in Creepshow as well. Real creepy little adaptation. A lot of cheesy 80s horror fun, too. And as we're on George A. Romero kick, I already had the VHS of the remake of Dawn of the Dead that they did. But I also now have the unrated director's cut, the exact same thing of Dawn of the Dead, the widescreen edition, which had some special features on there, as you can see. Splitting Headaches, Attack of the Living Dead, and Raising the Dead. You have the Lost Tape, special report, over 12 minutes of deleted scenes, and a commentary there with Zack Snyder and Eric Newman on their perspective of making the film. So it's kind of cool to have both of those now. I got it pretty cheap. Also, I have George A. Romero's recent Diary of the Dead, a masterpiece. This one was actually released in 2007, so one of the more recent ones that George A. Romero did. It does have commentary there with George A. Romero, Adam Swieka, and Michael Dougherty. So, also, for the record, feature-length documentary, The Roots, First Week, Familiar Voices, MySpace Contest winner, and Character Confessionals. A masterpiece. I like this a lot. It's like from a first-person perspective of being in a zombie apocalypse. So, really happy to grab that one. I also picked up the only one that I didn't have, the first Scream. Got this for $5 at Dollar General as well. They gave me this little eMovie cash code here for up to $5 too in it. And yeah, the original that I didn't have. I do have Scream 2 and also Scream 3, but I never had Scream 1. And what's funny is last year's Halloween horror update that I did, I showed off the other two Screams that I picked up because that was right around the time that Wes Craven passed away, and I wanted to get a lot of Wes Craven titles. I never had the Scream. There's also Scream 4, so it's not a trilogy anymore. But the first one I always thought was cool. Horror comedy, takes itself serious, but not too serious sometimes. A clever thriller. I remember watching this when it first came out. You have the audio commentary there with Craven and Kevin Williamson, and you see the other special features on there too as well. I'm not going to try to go too in-depth because I don't have too much time on this. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can here. William Friedkin's The Exorcist. It's William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, but I called it William Friedkin's Exorcist. One of the scariest movies, I think, to this day. My brother-in-law still cannot watch this movie by himself, or I don't think at all. It's one of the scariest films of all time for sure. Obviously, it's about a little girl who becomes possessed and has to be exorcised. There is commentary by William Friedkin, theatrical trailers, TV and radio spots on here as well. And man, around Halloween time, if you want to get real creeped out, definitely check out The Exorcist. I know they made a series on FX that has to do with The Exorcist as well, and they made a couple more of these, at least 3 of them that they made, but this is the best one of all time. I picked that up for $5. Here is Krampus the Christmas Devil, and I like Krampus, and that's the reason why I picked this up. But man, is this movie low rent cheeseball? Just not a big budget film. Definitely, if you're gonna pick up a Krampus film, I suggest picking up the one that I already had, and that is Krampus from last year. That was released, I believe, 2016 it was released, so this year. But this is a really good film. And it has feature commentary with the filmmakers on there, sorry. But you have Krampus and then Krampus the Christmas Devil. The only thing that made me pick this up is because it's related to Krampus, and that cover was just freaking badass. So if anything else, the cover art is kick-ass. But like I said, pick up the original Krampus, which was directed by the same director who directed Trick or Treat, which I want to see really bad, and I still have not gotten. I want to see it again really bad, and I still have not gotten that for the collection. I did see some of it, but I've never actually watched the movie complete, and I love that Sam off Trick or Treat too. So, if you're going to pick up a Krampus movie, pick up the regular one, not Krampus the Christmas Devil. Here I had the original VHS of Psycho that I got from the library, but I never did have any other copies of it. But for $5 at Walmart during Halloween time, they had Alfred Hitchcock Presents Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. There's old Bates Motel there. I love the cover of this movie. This is one of the Hitchcock movies that I did not have in the Hitchcock section of my collection. Has a lot of bonus features there. no commentary, which I was kind of disappointed about, but Anthony Perkins makes this movie playing the psycho, I guess you would call him. And, you know, you can't get any better than Psycho. Janet Leigh, you know, who was the main character, was one of the first movies that they twisted you with the main character, and she didn't even finish out the entire film. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I don't want to give a lot away because Psycho is such a classic film. Everybody should go out and check it out for themselves. Definitely a must to check around Halloween time, too. And speaking of Hitchcock, I had this is more like murder mystery, kind of more than horror, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway. Drama you see here. I had the James Stewart and Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, which is about a killing that he witnesses out his window. You have to definitely check this one out, too. I'm not going to give it away. One of the best Hitchcock films of all time, in my opinion. Maybe the best. I don't know, Vertigo, though, and Psycho and all of them. I mean, you can't really say which one's the best, but I also have the DVD here that I picked up for $5, which they also had out next to Psycho. So they as well must think this is a good one around Halloween time. And you have a conversation with screenwriter John Michael Hayes, Rear Window Ethics, an original documentary, and a couple more features on there. But once again, no commentary on these Hitchcock films. But I am so glad to have Psycho and Rear Window added to the collection. I already have, just to show that I've showed in the past, I have the Hitchcock Legend Begins collection. It has a ton of movies. Lifeboat. I got The Birds and the Vertigo. North by Northwest on there. Dial M for Murder. Now Psycho and Rear Window. So you can't beat that. Oh, here's a must-watch on Halloween that I did just watch. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I've showed this before. But, yeah, must-watch on Halloween time. So, yeah, happy to pick up Psycho and Rear Window. And I'm just going to leave them there. And I have, coming up next here, it was a collection, a 5-movie collection of The Boogeyman. It comes with Boogeyman, Boogeyman 2, Boogeyman 3, and then you get Boogeyman and Return of the Boogeyman, which were 80s films. One was in 1980. I don't remember when the Return of the Boogeyman was made, but I know that the Boogeyman itself was the 1980 film. And I love the newer Boogeyman that came out, I think back in like 2004, maybe 5. Is when the first Boogeyman was released, 2005, yeah. And then you have the 2007 Boogeyman 2 and Boogeyman 3 and 2008. And I never had the Boogeyman movies, but I'm glad to have them now. And I really enjoy those movies. It was really cool. I got that for like $5 too at a Dollar General. So all the movies for $5, I couldn't pass that up. Added the first Child's Play to my collection. Oh yeah, Chucky's 20th birthday edition as well. I think I picked this up for like $5 at Walmart. It has the audio commentary with producer David Kirshner and screenwriter Don Mancini. Audio commentary also with Alex Vincent, Catherine Hicks, and Chucky designer Kevin Yeager. So a couple commentaries on there. Scene-specific Chucky commentary. Evil Comes in Small Packages featurette. Building a Nightmare, a monster convention featurette. This is one of the scariest evil doll movies I've ever seen, and one of the more like slasher type evil doll movies that you'll ever see. And if you haven't seen Chucky and Child's Play, you definitely have to check it out. And I also picked up this double feature of Child's Play 2 and Child's Play 3. So I have the first 3 Chuckies. I know they made like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. But the first 3, in my opinion, were the best. Actually, after the first 3, I don't think they were as good. I really enjoyed the first one out of all of them. But look at that. Classic Halloween. Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. Glad to grab those. Sorry I'm moving through so quick, but I'm trying to get through a lot of movies here. Here's L.A. Slasher. Are You Dying to Be Famous? It's about a murderer in L.A., actually, Dave Bautista of WWE fame stars in this as well, so that's one of the reasons that I picked this up. But also, it's just a very creepy movie I heard as well, L.A. Slasher. This was released in 2014, and I picked it up for like 25 cents or so. So I had to pick it up because Bautista was in it, and it is horror, which I am a horror fan, so had to pick it up. I had the original Jaws, which is one of my favorite movies of all time and definitely one to watch around Halloween time, and one of the top horror movies of all time, about the killer rogue shark. And there you see Dreyfuss and the crew. Man, this is one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion. One of the things about Spielberg movies, though, there's never commentaries even by other people on them, and I wish they would do some film commentaries on some Spielberg movies. It'd be great. This is the 30th anniversary edition, but I've had that one for a long time. But I had to get the others, and for like $10, they had Jaws 2, 3, and The Revenge, and they're all really bad compared to the first one. But you know what? I have all the Jaws movies now, and you see some bonus features that you have on the Jaws movies down there. It looks like Jaws 2 had most of them. But they're not great, but it is all three of the sequels from the blockbuster movie itself, so now I have Jaws and all the remakes, and I had never really sat down and watched all the Jaws remakes, but now that I have, after watching the first one and then watching the three, it's just like, they did Jaws 3 in 3D, so, I mean, it was just gimmicky after that, and you just can't really remake Jaws, in my opinion. Here's a Thrills and Chills collection that I picked up, 4-movie collection. It was Halloween 2, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Underworld, and Bram Stoker's Dracula. I really wanted to get it for the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein because I already had that on VHS, and it's starring Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh. And it is horror, and it's a version of Frankenstein that I kind of enjoy. The depth of Robert De Niro here shows some range on character as he plays Frankenstein's monster. And I really wanted to get it for that reason. And now I'm dropping things, but let's see here. Oh, there must be something like... This thing must be possessed. I can't hold on to it. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. There you go. Different kind of cover there for the arts on each two as well. But Underworld, I guess you'd call that horror. Bram Stoker's Dracula, one of the best versions of the story of Dracula, in my opinion. Gary Oldman starring in that, and Halloween 2, Rob Zombie. Not a huge fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes, but you know what, they are what they are. I never had these either, and they are the Francis Ford Coppola produced Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. Actually, to check it out, I wanted to see and make sure. Yeah, they are both, I'm pretty sure, produced by Francis Ford Coppola, one of my favorite directors, producers, whatever. The first one was really good, I thought. The second one was pretty good. Some people like the second one better than the first, but I always liked the first one because it's more psychological, in my opinion. These were real, like, sun-faded cases or bootleg cases or something because, man, these DVDs just don't want to stay up here today because it's very light to see. But you gotta love Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. I always was a fan of these, and I never had them, and I got these for real cheap. I think 50 cents a piece. So, you can see special features on there, too. Audio commentaries, I think. On the second one, there's definitely an audio commentary. First one, yes, definitely an audio commentary as well. So you gotta like that. I always love the audio commentaries. Getting down here to the nitty-gritty, though, guys, I'm going to show off the next one. It's Big Bad Wolves, best film of the year. Quentin Tarantino called it. It's more like, it's horror for sure. Clever, suspenseful, mesmerizing. You have special features on there. But that's the last one that I was going to show off, guys, because I'm getting down to the end of my minutes here. I need a new SD card. But I hope everyone liked the Halloween horror special update. I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe, like, give me a comment on what your favorite horror movies are if you enjoy any of these movies here. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You gotta love Halloween. Happy Halloween. And as always, guys, peace out.